Hi, I'm redoing my intro because I did it really bad. Okay, I am filming all of my sketchbooks because I have a really bad memory and I want to talk about my sketchbooks and show the art before it deteriorates and talk about what I was doing during the time, what I was feeling during the time, various memories associated with drawings, because I want to keep that alive and I want to remember that looking back, because I look through my middle school art and I don't remember who I was drawing, why I was drawing, what I was feeling, what was going on in my life, but I do remember a lot from like these sketchbooks, and I want to vocalize it and talk about it while I still remember it very clearly, so I have a better record of my past, and also just to put all of my sketchbooks onto a place where I can reference them all the time. Even if I put my sketchbooks into storage, I have a way to look at them at any point. This one is from December 2018 to April 2019. This is a Lita Art Supply sketchbook. My mom got this for me for Christmas in, I believe, 2017 or 2016, and it was so pretty and nice that I refused to use it for a while. I'm trying not to gesticulate because my last one I was like gesticulating all over the place and covering up the thing, so I'm trying, but if you see a flash, I'm sorry. I talk with my hands a lot, it's a habit. So stickers, we got a whole bunch from my first ever Comic-Con that I went to. This one I had a huge crush on a YouTuber named Alchemic Fox, hence this. I bought her t-shirt at the time and it came with a little sticker. This was before everything came out about J.K. Rowling. I don't mess with Harry Potter anymore because of it. Chiba Hut, which is a marijuana themed sub sandwiches. I don't know, it's pretty fun. We also have some other ones in here. Voltron stickers, again, I got at Comic-Con. Love, Simon, I think came with the DVD, and a whole bunch of tickets that reveal exactly where I live, so we're not gonna do that. More Voltron stickers. I got into washi tape, that's when that was pretty big. The first couple pages, I was just trying to test out the materials on this paper. For those curious, it does not handle watercolor well at all, and markers bleed right through. And for this, for my photography class I mentioned in my previous one, we had to do a photo session. I decided to do a whole bunch of like me painting and the ways that it kind of is messy but beautiful at the same time, and I decided what better way than to paint peaches and use, this is oil paints, I believe this is acrylics, and this is gouache. You can see the oil kind of leaked out. This paper doesn't take it very well, and I thought it would be funny to do a Princess Peach. This is my OC, his name is Cardamon. It's funny because he's supposed to be a human Espeon. I have a little card right there. That wasn't planned. I just threw those over there because I thought it'd be funny to have like a little Easter egg and then something for visual interest. This page comes right out. I'm glad I number my pages because of this. I don't have it anymore and it's so sad, but I had a blacklight pen that I did a couple sketches with, so this lights up, and then I watched Brother Bear with my family. Me and my little brother really liked it. So you can't see it, but there's the light bouncing off and splashing like it does in Brother Bear. I had to censor this. This was a draw this in your style. I believe I wrote the username for the person right here. I wanted to do lineless, and I wanted to be more free and loose with my art. So I thought if I just grabbed some Copic markers and went to town, eventually I would figure out how to layer things well, and I didn't. So there's that, and a sleeping cat. I'm going fast because I know there's going to be a point where I start to yap a lot, and my last sketchbook tour was like 40 minutes long, and there were so many times where I just sat there in dead silence for a solid minute. Got into Sally Face, that's when I think the first or second chapter just dropped. Wanted to draw a cool ghost dude on a skateboard. This is a reference from Matsuya, which is PewDiePie's wife. Again, I'm not really a fan of PewDiePie, but Matsuya does take really aesthetic photos, so I thought I would just draw her. I tried to draw lapis lazuli and it did not work very well. I don't think I could draw it now even. And then this was one of my most favorite digital pieces I've ever done. This is Sally Face. I'll see if I can put up the image on screen. Oh, this was Christmas. This is Christmas Eve. So let's see, when did I start this sketchbook? December, yeah, so I did all of this before Christmas. I remember I couldn't sleep and I was watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos. So there's Chloe Moriando. Here's the bug from Cave Town's Boys Will Be Bugs. something from Hollow Knight. This is also one of those blacklight things. You can kind of see it vaguely. I gave him like a scary toothy smile and his eyes glow as well. I wanted to be better at drawing hands. This is the day after Christmas or day of Christmas. I got a whole bunch of microlines and I was testing them out. My little brother got Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. I think my mom meant to give one to each of us. She gets our names mixed up all the time. She's a mom before it happens. So my brother got both of them, but he let me play. And I named my Eevee Sugar and my Pikachu Sunshine. This was New Year's. I had a dog named Duke. If you see this here, he actually ate my sketchbook, just a little bit. He was a German Shepherd Chihuahua mix. Don't think about that for too long. We eventually did have to give him up. We got him around the time I moved in with my grandma to take care of her while she was dying from cancer. And unfortunately, because I was so focused on taking care of my grandmother, and then I also was going to school at the time, I didn't have time to properly train him. And then when I was at school, or the rare instance where I did go out and hang out with friends, he would not be well behaved. He got into my mom's albuterol and ate an entire Easter basket worth of chocolate. It messed up his brain chemistry really bad. He almost died, but he became really aggressive after that. He bit my stepdad really bad to the point where he almost needed stitches. He started biting at me, and I was his person. He was supposed to be my mom's dog, but he and I bonded incredibly well. So he even bit at me several times. And we had my nieces and nephews over a lot, so we didn't want to have a dog that bit and was super aggressive all the time, and we didn't want to keep him in his kennel all the time. And because I was working and because I was going to school and taking care of my grandmother, I didn't have time to watch him 24/7, so I didn't want to keep him in a kennel, and I didn't want to, so we gave him to a family that dealt with kind of aggressive smaller breeds. I cried. Guzma, my beloved. This was supposed to be Ghastly, but I didn't do it correctly. And then Isabel from Animal Crossing. I believe I got one of the games at this point. It might have been New Leaf. I believe at some point I got a type of tea and it stained the paper. I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been hibiscus tea, just because it can turn blue sometimes. And I went wild. This is supposed to be berries. They didn't turn out so well. And you can see very faintly some metallic gold flecks as well. I believe that was paint. This is Fern from Adventure Time. I think I rewatched all of the series. This is based off of a Vine.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
This is a thumbnail for a sketch later. I really was into the Outlast games, and I love Eddie Gluskin or Gluskin. I don't know how to. And I was drawing this, and my little brother decided it'd be funny to knock the pencil, and I was so mad. This is that thumbnail from earlier. It's Eddie kind of dancing with one of his brides that he fabricated. I kind of want to redo it. I feel like I would do it justice a lot more on my current style. This is when I got a watercolor and gouache set for Christmas, and I decided it was time that I figured out how to use it. This was me trying to figure out gouache. I didn't have a good handle of it back then. I kept trying to use it like acrylics or watercolor, and I got frustrated because I was expecting it to act like an acrylic when I was using it as a watercolor, and I expected it to work as a watercolor when I was trying to use it as an acrylic. I use gouache now, and I love gouache. It's my preferred medium, I guess. But I did some Totoros, and I think this is also from My Neighbor Totoro. Just a little bit that I redid, and some sunflowers. They're my favorite flower. This is a screenshot redraw from Kiki's Delivery Service. I figured the best way to get better at backgrounds was to copy artists that had a really good handle of drawing backgrounds simplified, and Ghibli is right in that sweet spot. We have Darwin from The Amazing World of Gumball, a very flat-faced looking Keith, Tadashi, and Baymax from My Hero 6. Fun fact about My Hero 6, I legit thought it was the 6th movie in a franchise. So my friend invited me to go see it with her at the movie theater, and I told her I couldn't see it because I hadn't seen the first 5, and she laughed so hard. I've seen it since, and it is one of my favorite movies. I wanted this to go viral so bad, and it kind of not really did, but did for me at the time. I love drawing galaxies, and this is one of the first things that I ever did in this in watercolors. One of my most viral TikToks was me talking about my watercolor palette and how I drew a galaxy for the first time, and I asked if anyone wanted to see me paint anything, and they wanted me to draw the, so I kind of did. I hadn't drawn galaxies in a very long time. This is my April of 2021 sketchbook, so we'll see her way later. You can vaguely see I put some glitter glue on it. This was me testing out the various colors, how they interact with the page. Again, this paper doesn't take watercolors very well, but I tried. I remember at this point, I was going with my sister to her college classes after I finished with mine. This was after my grandma had passed. So I was spending a lot of time with my sister. And after my classes were done, I'd go with her to a different campus, same college, but like an hour away. And while I was waiting for her to do her med classes, I sat in the little garden and I would just paint or draw or do whatever while I waited for her to be done. I listened to a lot of Welcome to Night Vale. That's a series that I have loved since year 1, honestly. This is still me drawing at the place. We have Jiro from My Hero Academia. We have a fox. I did redraw this one later on, but we'll come back to that. I was trying to draw an orb, and there was a picture where a deer was shot in the head with an arrow, but it was still alive, and it spoke to me. Still trying to get the hang of doing watercolors. We have not too bad strawberry, honestly. I just needed to work on the leaves. A bee. This is supposed to be Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I did not know how to do the people, and I wasn't erasing my pencil line, so the graphite was bleeding into the paint, which just muddied up the colors. And then my OC Theta, it's the same. I reorganized the paints into an order I liked a bit more. And this was me swatching them in the order I liked. And then Tweet and Law from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I must have been rewatching it. I love foxes. I love drawing them. And this got like 1,000 or so likes. I might be inflating it in my head, but it got so many likes. And I was so frustrated that this one became popular because I crapped it out in like 10 minutes, when this one I was so proud of, and I still kind of am. I was just copying another artist entirely. That's supposed to be Mark of Fire. I know what I was trying to draw. Spectres from the game Off, a Zachary from Off, and then this is when Change Your Mind or Change My Mind came out for Steven Universe. I was taking a pottery class at this point, and we had to make a vase, and I thought it'd be really cool to make a Korok. I'm so sad that I threw it away. It was really ugly. I did not do it very well at all, but I did make it. Oh, I had the sticky note covering him up because it was just wonky anatomy. There's a Denki from My Hero Academia, another Bloopy. These two also have a black light where the jellyfish glow, and then she's got some weird spooky stuff going on. So you'll notice that I only draw on one side. I did this for a while. I used to do primarily markers, and the bleed through scared me, and I didn't know how to work around it, so I would just draw on one side, so that way, one, the graphite wouldn't rub off, and two, the marker bleed wouldn't be an issue. And it's crazy to see, because this was considered a busy page for me back then, because I would only, that's spoilers, because I would only ever draw like maybe 1 or 2 things, and then I would call it, which is so crazy to me, because now, like, in comparison, I draw, like, I'm a maximalist, baby. I draw, like, so much on every single page. It is, like, absolutely crazy. This is my current sketchbook that I'm working on, but, like, I draw it till it's full, and back then, this was considered a busy spread. Wild how art evolves like that. But we have a blue diamond. I redraw her every now and then. A Dan Howell. These are supposed to be Vulpixes, and that's Haku from Spirited Away. I believe this was me either this was watercolor. I think I tried doing gouache here. This is a pink diamond. If you will focus, please. No? All right, doesn't want to focus. But I thought it'd be really cool if she had like thorns around her throat. I realized I was really bad at anatomy. I still kind of am. But I'm okay with that. I've made peace. So I did a whole bunch of male figure studies. Markiplier, it's just Markiplier. And a little musty mouse. That's kind of cute. It's hard to see because color pencil. And then these were female figure studies. This is Mint Tea Prince again, but phenomenal. Used a lot of drag techniques for his cosplays, so they all came out really well. And a couple of Dodies as well, because I love Dodie, and that's supposed to be Mark and Chica. Right there. I think I was trying to get back into pencil sketches. I listened to the Over the Garden Wall, and there's a point where there's two tracks that are back to back, and they transition so smoothly that it is impossible to pick out where one ends and the other begins. And I loved listening to it over and over again. Panda saying "You are trash." This is my OC Theta. I was messing around with his design. He does not look like this. This is how I used to draw all the time when I was a kid. Like just this exactly. The pupilless eyes, the blush, the dot nose, and everyone had cat ears for some reason. And I decided I would redraw like how I used to draw, but now, if that makes sense. This was supposed to be a photo redraw. Dan Howell posted a photo that he took in an aquarium, and I really liked the shadows and lighting. I didn't know how to do dramatic lighting. I feel like I'm better at it now. Some more Over the Garden Wall art. I listened to the Bad Wolves cover of Zombie, and I fell in love with it. I remember this I was drawing at my community college library. I would go up to the third floor. There was a back corner where there was a bunch of couches, and no one went up to the third floor because why would you? Everything you needed was on the first floor. So it was quiet, no one went up there, and I could draw in peace without being bothered, and I drew all of this. I used to have this really weird reoccurring dream where I was married off to a priest, and I didn't want to be married, and so I would run off towards this lake, and as I was running, there was like these deers that were hollowed out, and they're just everywhere. So there was 3 endings to the dream. One, I got caught and was forced to marry the priest. The second was that I would run into the lake and drown myself. And the third was that I would crawl into one of these deer carcasses and hide, and then once they left, run away. After I drew this, I stopped having this dream, and I've tried that with other recurring dreams I've had, and surprisingly, after I've drawn it, I don't have those dreams anymore. This is going to be more background practice and a screenshot redraw from being Puppy Cat. I did not know how to use gouache, and I got so discouraged because it looked so bad that I just gave up. I'm going to do this again. I have decided that. I love Sailor Moon so much, and I love the Wicked Lady or the Black Lady, depending on which version you watch. That arc is a little weird, but I love the design they gave her, and I've always had a really big trouble drawing her, and I couldn't figure out why for the longest time, and actually Arcane was what gave it away. I was making her face too elongated, giving her like too sharp features when she's supposed to look like her mother and supposed to look like a rabbit. And I thought it would be a lot more tragic if, despite her looking older, she still carried that little bit of youth. So I redrew her recently, right here, and I did more of like the round face that was kind of referenced for Jinx, and it fits her so much better. It suits her so much better. And yes, that is the lyrics for All I Wanted Was You, because I saw a comment on a YouTube video where it's All I Wanted Is You by Paramore, and they said that I listened to this song and think of the parents that I wanted as a child, and they never were there for me when all I wanted was a mother and father. And that ripped me up. So I gave it to her. My Evil Within yearly replay or rewatch. I love Leslie Withers. He is one of my favorite characters of all time. Score Bunny, I think that's when the games were announced. I was feeling bad about myself. I'm really acne prone. I break out when I'm stressed, but I have an anxiety disorder, so I'm constantly stressed, and then I get hormonal acne really easily. But my hormones are out of whack because my genetics, so I constantly am just breaking out all the time, and every now and then when they mesh, if I'm stressed and I'm hormonal, then I look like a pizza face and I get really embarrassed by it. I don't care now. I used to cover up with makeup really badly. Now I will be like full swing breakout and I'll go into public. And that's partially because of my husband just loving me unconditionally and thinking I'm beautiful even when I look like a volcano is about to erupt on my cheeks. My OC Eliza, she's a shapeshifter, but she takes the form of the woman who found her when she was near death and took care of her. I drew some Shea and Catra, some Glimmer and Adora. I can't not draw Adora to save my life. Or Glimmer, honestly. I love drawing Catra though. Entrapta is my favorite character. I relate to her a stupid amount. So I figured I'd draw her working on her robot, which shares my name, Emily. And I actually had my little brother take a photo of me doing this pose so I could do it from reference. I think that's a fennec fox scratching itself, and then me figuring out some markers. I tried to do like a little stamp, like a wax seal, and put some flowers in, but it crumbled over time, and then the oil from the wax melted. Some glitter pop pads, Sailor Mars, a cat, and a freaky looking pig. I burnt my sketchbook when my mom was at work and she wasn't home to yell at me about it. I've redrawn this several times, and every time I think it's way better than the last, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for this one. I transferred over. Davian from Monster Prom. It's supposed to be Dobie. Dan Howell's screaming, trying to get better at extreme expressions. Some of my OCs. His name is no longer Leslie. I'm trying to figure out a name for him. And his name is no longer Oliver. I'm still trying to figure out a name for him. I did this at the cafeteria at my college, and some people were looking at me weird, so I give up. Oh man, that actually looks pretty good. I drew this at 3 a.m. All of this 3 a.m. Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time, Curb with the Sword, Aizawa, and Bakugo from My Hero Academia. Darkblier, random screenshot redraw, and that is Bilbo Baggins from the Hobbit movies. I tried to draw with henna because I thought it'd be cool. It looks like I just smeared absolute, like literal crap in my sketchbook. We have some Markipliers, we have some ballerina studies. I love drawing ballerinas, they're so fun. And a tea gardener. I got more markers, decided to swatch them and see what I could do. This is supposed to be a Victor and Yuri from Yuri on Ice, and then a Freddy Fazbear. I wrote die because, okay, so I had a stalker at this point. At this point, he was just mildly stalking me around college campus and just interrupting me no matter what, even when I told him, like, hey, go away, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I would hide in the bathroom and he would wait outside the bathroom for me to come out. And he eventually just showed up at my house, and he only stopped when my husband and a couple of my friends threatened him because he was also doing it to several other women in our friend group. Oh, I did some work for a children's hospital that my mom works at, and they were doing an Alice in Wonderland theme, so I did some posters of the various characters, and I was trying to just do like thumbnail sketches, trying to get in the habit of drawing in the Disney style. Some anti-septicite art. This is Deckard from being Puppy Cat. I thought it'd be cool. Kind of like it actually still. This was the nuzzle of Duke, my dog. Some random hand studies. That's Bakugo Katsuki, Alice in Wonderland, and then that mannequin that I draw every now and then. There was this little cafe and bakery on college campus. It was just really just nice and fun to hang out with. It's since been closed down and turned into a Starbucks. Ew. I remember drawing this while sitting there. My friend came up and he was like, oh my god, Guzma. And then this is an Aaron Hansen. He's so hard to draw correctly. Bro, what the heck? This was for my ceramics project where I had to make a vase. I was trying to see what would be the best one, and I just went with a basic. My first attempt, I was trying to see what masks ones I wanted, if I wanted to do a whole bunch, if I wanted to do a histu, which one I would like to do. Just, what does this say? Ah, you found me. Just trying things out. Oh, this is about my stalker, I'd get up at 4 a.m. because I would go with my mom to work, and then I'd walk to my college campus because it was right across the street. And then when I was taking care of my grandmother, my college campus was like 1.5 miles from her house, so I would walk from college to my grandma's house, even if it was 125 degrees, which was great. But I woke up at 4 a.m. and then all day long he was just following me, and it was scary. It was scary. Night in the woods, random stuff I think I found on Pinterest. Someone had a dream with Naoki Watsume where there was a character named Glunkus and he just had a whole bunch of teeth for a face, and I thought that was funny. Some Kirishimas, an axolotl, and a Sophie and Howl that I actually really like still to this day. My husband! Oh my gosh! So I tried to draw him. He's really hard to draw because he's got like this baby face because, you know, he just got a baby face, but he's also still very masculine, but also like he's and I think this was, when was this? Oh my gosh, this either was right when we got together or right before we got together. But yeah, and then Salty Pink Lesbian, there was a YouTuber who read through her old Sonic comics, and she kept saying this about Amy, and I love it to the death. Absolutely 100%. This was also at the garden where I was waiting for my sister to be done with classes. I drew all of these, and there was someone typed in maybe we or maybe we are, and Google does the autofill suggestion of what people were looking up, and this is what they gave them, and it read as a poem. So my handwriting is really hard to read. So it's maybe we were supposed to meet the wrong people, maybe we're not meant to be, maybe we are satellites, maybe we are the lucky ones, maybe we're friends, maybe we're more, maybe we're all cabinets of wonder, maybe we are meant to meet the wrong people, maybe we're each other's soulmates. And I loved that, so I put it in my sketchbook. A jackalope. This also had the blacklight thing. He's supposed to be crying, and then he has like an X on his heart. Also, same session. Succulent and some flowers. This I think I did at home on my family's faux leather couch that was peeling, and it was just really grody texture. Tell me love is endless, don't be so pretentious. That is a Billie Eilish lyric. I cannot remember the name of the song at the top of my head. The Lion King live action movie just came out, and I, like many people, thought it looked gross. Background study, Sally face and a girl with a dress, some flowers. I was feeling sad, and I was listening to Dodie and Thomas Sanders sing their duets. I thought it was really cute. Do you remember the Umbrella Academy first came out and it was good? Yeah, me neither. Anyways, then I was going to do a thumbnail for a sketch. It kind of came across as shippy, and I didn't mean for it to. I had this thought where Shiro, after having so much PTSD from being tortured, experimented on, and then forced to fight as a gladiator for an alien species, would have like all this PTSD and would have a hard time like going back into society after everything is over, and like being a human again. And he looks at Lance, who's also gone through so much, who is still a people person, and feeling incredibly like jealous and self-conscious comparing himself to Lance. Again, it kind of came across as shippy. I didn't mean for it to. I really just wanted this moment of reflection because I feel like we didn't get a lot of Shiro and Lance interactions, and so I came across as shippy. But it's the lyrics to a Steven Universe song. I don't remember which one. But the lyrics are, I know there's something residing, a terror deep inside me. I never understand how you could be so bold. Maybe I'll find myself smiling on that distant shore. Maybe I'm not alone. I got a banana shirt for my birthday. And then I did some figure studies and movement studies with Milford Mother Loving Wharf Stash. Because, yeah. Sailor Venus and Artemis. I really wanted to finish this, but I gave up. At this point, I realized I hadn't drawn any Zelda fan art in this sketchbook. Which is really weird to me. I absolutely love the Zelda franchise, and normally I draw at least 1 or 2 Zelda fan arts in my sketchbook, and I realized I hadn't, so I scribbled down, there's that scene from Scrubs.
Always keep an eye out for Johnny the tackling Alzheimer's patient.
What's that supposed to mean?
Whoever
Come on!
I thought that was perfect for Link. I didn't know what characters to use, so I just did Beetle and Riju, because I think I wanted to draw Riju. Excuse me. This is another thing from the internet that I wanted to put in. Someone had the magnet poetry and decided to do this. I think this was from Twitter, I don't remember. But it says, Moondrunk monster, beautiful and strange, howl your melancholy question and tell me, which do you dread more, the echo or the question? About werewolves. So there was a trend, somewhat in the last few years, to redraw this screenshot specifically. I would like to note that I did this in 2019. Just saying. I lost my pencil, and I found it in the couch cushions right underneath my butt cheeks. I don't know why I did vent art at this time. Oh, so this was finals. That's why I did the vent art, is because it was finals, and I was stressed. So after finals, I was wanting to go home early because my classes got out super early, and I didn't want to wait until 6 p.m. when my mom got off of work. Which, if you remember from earlier, yes, I would wake up at 4 a.m., go with my mom to the hospital, and spend all day on campus until she was off of work, and then I'd go home. She worked from 6 to 6. So I wanted to go home early because I didn't want, there to be an 8-hour point where I just didn't have any classes and I was just, whatever. So I asked my friends if they would give me a ride, and they were like, oh yeah, absolutely, like after finals are over, which should be around 1. But finals lasted a lot longer than they thought. And they had to stay behind to talk to their professor. And so it was like 4:30, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they forgot about me. I want to go home so bad. I was crying, and they didn't forget me. Literally 30 minutes after I drew this, they showed up. I don't remember what this is from, or if it's from a song at all. My niece drew this. A ballerina class is a flower, and I can see it so well. I don't know if you can. Random girl from Pinterest. I got a new sketchbook. I think my next one was going to be a bigger one than this. I drew a Midna and a Bloopy, and I was crying. I don't remember why. I love this so much. It's supposed to be one of those cinnamon toast crunch guys. And then people from Pinterest and a snake. Some Scorpia and dark applier, and then this was a drawing I did of my mom. So I started writing it. I don't know how, but my brother and I have very similar handwriting, so at some point it switches from my handwriting to his. So it's a picture of my mom, and she just says, guess I'll have every disease, but first I need to find my glasses so I can read what I have online. Where are they? And my keys. She has a lot of health issues. I'm not going to put her medical history on blast, but she's very open about having really bad asthma. She has Hashimoto's. She has like bone spurs in her knees. She gets intubated or in the ICU at least once a year. It's a yearly thing. So this was right after that point. Just drew some cats. I don't know who this is supposed to be. A Catra, and I really like the way that they did Ariel in Ralph Breaks the Internet. This is Tyler and Ethan from a Markiplier video where they're like dunking him in ice water in his bathtub. I really liked the composition and I was going to fully draw it, especially with like Mark in the middle just looking like a drowned cat, but I gave up. Yes. And I believe that's it. Again, I didn't do a sketchbook review. That was my 2018 to 2019 sketchbook tour. A lot of fun memories, a lot of weird memories. A lot of being just emotionally vulnerable, I guess, in this sketchbook. This was the start of when I started using it as like a diary entry, or I'd give little life updates, which just means I'm oversharing with the internet now because I'm talking about it. I'm sorry there was a lot of yapping and stories in this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, whatever you'd like to do. If not, I don't mind. We're all just passengers in the YouTube algorithm, and if you happen across my video, great. If you don't like it, cool, carry on. Hope you have a good day. All right, thank you. Bye.